Welcome to Making It Happen, the podcast for working parents who are raising kids, growing careers, and trying to stay grounded in the process. I'm your host, Pauline Roth. Each week, we'll talk about real-life balance, the kind that doesn't look perfect, but works for you. This isn't about having it all. It's about making it happen.
And now we're recording.
All right. So I have my husband with me today. I'm going to talk to him about everything that you didn't want to know. Just kidding. Jim, why don't we start with the origin of making it happen from your perspective?
So we're on a learning curve here because this is the first time that I'm directing the camera and being in front of the camera at the same time. So we're going to see how this works. So the origin of making it happen. I don't know where the phrase specifically came from, but I know the first time that we used it, or at least I used it. So it was 1 week, right?
Yes,
1 week. So we started dating in July of 2014?
2014, yeah.
2014. And we became official. I remember we were out on a date and I told you was it Rita's Roadhouse?
Yes.
Rita's Roadhouse. I told you that I was tired of you not being my girlfriend. And I asked, would you be my official girlfriend? And you said yes. So 1 week later, I don't know how I found this place. Maybe I saw it online. Maybe I saw it on the news. Anyway, city of Chicago was the hot spot for cupcakes.
Cupcakes, yeah.
I sent you six or a dozen? I sent you 6 custom cupcakes, and on the little tag, I had them write a note, and I said, 1 week down, forever to go, quote unquote, making it happen.
Yes.
So that was 14 years ago. And we have used that as our, I don't know, is mantra the right word, or motto, or
yeah.
our tagline for our relationship ever since then. We've always been making it happen.
Yeah, and I think I would say that before I met you, and you probably got it from one of our friends, because I always used to say that. I'm just making it happen. So.
Yeah, I think, I remember hearing that.
Mm-hmm.
I remember there were maybe cards or balloons or something, and it was said, it's like, well, Pauline, she's just always making it happen.
Yes.
So yeah, I think that's pretty much where that came from. And so yeah, we've been making it happen since.
Yeah, so let's talk about that and how we make it happen, because now we're in such a different place than we were 14 years ago. We have 2 kids, 2 different families that we grew up with. Like, how do we make it happen in our life?
That's a tough one, because it's complicated. It's complicated because there's a lot of things that we have to do to make things happen.
Yes.
So, for instance, in the beginning, we both worked in an office,
Mm-hmm.
and we had 1 car. So back then, we made it happen by, for some reason, you got a job that was on my way to work, so we were able to carpool.
Yep.
Like, out of all the places that you could have got a new job, it was literally right along the highway on my way to work. So, and I didn't work close. I was in Lincolnshire. That was like an hour away from our apartment at the time.
Yeah.
So we made it happen there, right?
We spent a lot of time in the car together.
And we have ever since.
Yes.
I feel like we spend a lot more time together than most couples do, which some probably think is weird. I think that's just been our way since forever. So yeah, so after that, let's see, we made it happen you started working a little bit more remote.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started working remote because of COVID. And that was like a whole new thing of how to make it happen, because now we're both working from home, which is something new that we had never done before.
Yeah. And not to mention, we were raising 2 kids at the time during COVID.
Yeah. So prior to that, making it happen was, how do we both have careers, and how do we have one child? And then how do we have 2 and still have careers?
Yeah.
But we made that happen also. Thankfully your mom was available to be our caregiver for both girls. And then, so then fast forward to 2020, now we're both working from home. We have 2 girls that are also sheltering in place with us because they weren't in school yet, and there was no school to be had at that point. So we had to figure out how to always be in the house at all times and not get on each other's nerves.
Which was tough.
Yeah, I think in the beginning, I thought it'd be cool to have my office in the basement because I had that little man cave of a basement. It wasn't very long that I realized that being in a dark basement and hearing everything going on above me was actually just more torturous than anything.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah, because you didn't even see the sunlight at all. It's not like we had a window downstairs.
No, I saw the sun when I came up and started being grumpy and like, what's going on up here? Because it was all loud and people were crying and stomping feet. Because in the wintertime, I was working before the sun came up. And by the time I was done working, the sun was already on its way down. So didn't see sunlight for the first 2 weeks or so.
Yeah.
And decided that I needed to upgrade my office to the main floor so I could at least get some sun.
Yeah, because it definitely wasn't working for you. So I want to switch gears to talk about how we raised or are raising the girls, because we have two kids that we come from different families, and we're trying to mesh how we were raised with our family.
So yeah, you're right. Like 2 different styles of family.
Yep.
Like how you would describe family was different for both of us.
Yes.
And so I think one thing that we did from the beginning was to talk about that. Like before we even had our first child, we had discussions on, well, what will we do? Where will they go to school? What kind of school will it be? What do we expect from them? That kind of stuff. And I mean, we picked our house based on who had the best school district.
School district,
right.
Yeah.
Right. And then as time went on, we realized that, school district ratings don't mean a whole lot, especially when the curriculum becomes questionable.
Right.
So we had to make decisions, and, raising the kids has been a challenge because on my end of things, I feel that I am more reactionary. When I see something happening that I don't like, I need to stop it, raise my voice for no particular reason, and then also provide punishment right then and there. And I do the disciplining all in one action, and you have a different approach.
Yeah, so my approach is to let them cry it out, and then when they're calm, then we can talk to them about it.
Yeah, and I think for me, looking back on it, there wasn't a whole lot of talking about anything.
Mm-hmm.
It was more arguing and yelling. And for me as a kid, I remember like hitting doorways and getting mad and throwing some toys or breaking stuff. So I had a different way of handling things as a kid.
Well, it was also different for you because you didn't have any siblings. You were the only child.
Yeah. So unfortunately, there was no one else to blame stuff on. So if I got in trouble, like it was usually my fault. But I tried to not get in trouble as much as I could. I tried to blame it and talk my way out of it as much as I could. But even not so much getting in trouble, but just not getting my way did result in some arguing. And so I don't want that to continue. I have to think about how I'm handling the situations and not repeat what I have now thought about and be like, I didn't really care for that when I was a kid, and I'm sure they don't care for it now. So why am I going to repeat myself?
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like for me, it's more of what I didn't like as a child and what I did like as a child. I tried to bring that into our home. I want to do the things that my family did, that my parents did with me, like have family movie night, order pizza, things like that. Because obviously, we didn't, have a lot of money, so we couldn't do the things that you were able to do as a kid.
Right, because we had family pizza night, but it was called Thursday.
Right.
It was Thursday because Friday was laundry night or laundry day, and Thursday was get all the laundry together, probably do some cleaning, and there's no time for dinner, so we're just going to make sure we bring home pizza on Thursdays because Friday is laundry day. And that was just the routine. It wasn't anything. It wasn't made to be special. I mean, there was other special meals, special occasions, but yeah, for me, the special times were more so travel. Like we were able to travel.
So when you think back to your childhood, what are some things that we do now that you enjoy doing with our kids?
Well, definitely traveling. So being able to take them places, do things with them, living here in Florida, being able to go to the theme parks, right? I would come here on vacation with my parents and my family. It was always kind of a group trip with my uncle and aunt and a cousin, usually my grandma. Like we all always came down here often. Now I get to live here. So we can do those things when we want to. Obviously, some of them are the cost of going to a theme park has gone up in the last 20 to 30 years. But being able to do that with the girls, take them places, have them experience new things, and just go places, like those are the memories that I have because I've shared them with you. Like every time we talk about things around this area, I have a story to tell about it. Remember this one time, or I remember this one time, and or my dad did this, and that kind of stuff. And I want them to be able to do that as well.
Yeah, and I think for me, like I didn't go on family vacations like you did, but for me, my parents spent a lot of time with me, especially my dad. I was very close with my dad. I still am. I'm close with both of my parents, but I remember my dad taking me to the park and we would fly kites or pick out fishes. Just things like that. Like I remember spending time with them.
Yeah, and I think, getting back to making it happen, I think for us, we're blending that stuff together. Like you have shown me your childhood and the things that you remember and the things that you found. And I've shared with you the things that I like to do or the things that I remember. So I think, our kids are getting spoiled because they are getting the best of both. Like we get to explore and see new things. And then we also spend a lot of time together.
Right.
We do, family movie nights here on the couch, or we plan, let's go to the theater. Our girls love the world's best theater, as they call it, because there's reclining seats. Yeah. So like, I think all of that stuff, like you bake with the girls, you make meals with the girls.
Yes.
We let them choose, like on their birthday, like, where do you want to go for your birthday dinner? We want to go out and have a nice meal, and we let them choose. So it's a hybrid, I think, of both of our childhoods, the things that we liked the most, and we're giving both sides to them at the same time.
Yeah. So What do you think is the biggest challenge for us when it comes to parenting?
Parenting in general, more so on, I would say, what the rules are and how to enforce the rules. So I don't want to sound like we need to like always be like we need to have a plan for discipline, because the girls aren't that bad. Like every now and then, like any kid, they have moments where they need to be disciplined, but I think it's in the manner of how. And this is what I said before. I'm very reactionary to when things happen. I need to be the loudest one in the room to get them to break their attention, to stop what they're doing, and fall in line. It's very like military drill sergeant. And you're not like that. So I think that's the challenge, is like, you don't agree with that. I don't agree with it either, but it's something that I'm working on to try and fix and do it in a different way.
Yeah, I think I'm more patient with the girls, and I feel like as I got older, I became more patient because I wasn't patient before. And if I look back on it and think about my cousin who had her kids at 19, 20 years old, I can't even imagine how we would do that. And I think that we had kids when we were older.
I think we had them when we were supposed to.
Right? Yeah.
And it's worked out. We've made it happen, right? Yeah. Regardless of what the doctors said, the doctors are all treating it like it's some kind of, geriatric pregnancy. It's like neither one of us were that old. We don't feel that old. Sometimes we don't act that old. We definitely don't act our age sometimes. So it's, yeah, I lost my train of thought on that, but it was like, it's, yeah, we had the kids when we were supposed to. And we were, like you said, you grew patience as you got older. I wish I could say the same. I think I've lost some patience with just about everybody as I've gotten older. But I've also, with having two girls, probably have grown. I feel like the Grinch. Maybe my heart has grown 3 sizes, because I definitely have become more affectionate, or being able to show affection more easily than I ever did before.
Yeah. And I feel like you've learned too that the girls are going to look to you because you're their daddy.
Well, you had to point that out, because as a male, I'm not paying attention to that stuff. But as the mom and all your motherly instincts, you did point that out. And now that I look at it, yes, you are very correct that it doesn't matter how much I'm the one that does the disciplining, or I'm the one that tells them no. They still come to me to ask if they can have a snack, if they can do something, if they need help, or they have a question, just about anything. I'm the one they come to first. Doesn't matter how much I can be the mean guy. They still come to me first.
Yeah, I would love for them to come to me, but they just don't. And I can relate, because that's how I was with my dad.
Yeah, and I don't like when they come to you first, because then you give them what they want, and then I see it. I'm like, why do you have that? Well, mommy said I could. So I prefer when they come to me, because then it gets done my way.
Let's switch gears and talk about like our businesses and how we make that happen, because you have a full-time job, you have your own business, I have my own business. How are we able to work together?
Well, it's difficult, because there's only so much time in the day. And some days my 9 to 5 is more like a 8 to 6, or an 8 to 3, and then a 5 to 7, and then a 9 to 10, depending on how busy I am. So, like, we have that issue. Plus, we also have children that have lives. So there's taekwondo practice and other things that they need to do. But for us, the main thing that we do is we communicate about it. Like, we talk about it. So there's two things that I think we do. I think we talk about it as much as we can, and we live by our calendar. If it's on the calendar, it either gets done or gets rescheduled to be done. But I can almost guarantee you that if it's not on the calendar, it's never going to happen.
Yeah, and then we go crazy because we're like, why didn't this happen? Because we didn't put it on the calendar.
Yeah, exactly. So, if we want to get into the technical stuff about how we make it happen, having two businesses and a job, and, not only do we have two businesses, but what I do with my marketing agency is I have clients. So they also need to be part of our calendar as well. Right. So what are we using now? I think we've upgraded all the way to Jira for project management. Mm-hmm. Like, we have project management software that we use for our house.
Yes.
We have a digital calendar.
Is that normal?
I mean, I don't know if it's normal, but it is in this house.
Yes.
Like, the girls don't have project management, but we do have a digital calendar that has everyone's activity, so we know what everyone is supposed to do at any given time of the day.
We write our tasks down on the calendar. We write what we're having for dinner on the calendar. I'm all about making lists because I feel like that's the only way things are going to get done.
Yeah, I feel that way too. My problem is I don't actually make the list. I let it float around in my head, so it's more like a crumpled up ball of paper in my head, and things get done eventually. I know you would prefer that I actually wrote things down, and I'm working on that. I will get better. Maybe we'll have a follow-up episode when I get my list writing skills in order. But yeah, like, we use project management software. We use calendars. We communicate. There's some days where we're communicating via Teams. We used to use Microsoft Teams for a while. Yeah. You're down here in your office. I'm up in my office, and it's just easier to use Teams to send messages back and forth because yelling through the house is not efficient. So we use whatever business tools, the tools that help a business run efficiently, we use those in our house too. Because if it's not running efficiently, nothing's getting done.
I think one of the important things that we do is we set time aside on a Sunday evening or a Friday evening, and we talk about all the things that we want to accomplish in the month, and we write them down. We put them in the calendar, and that's how things ultimately get done.
Yeah, we do a lot of pre-planning. I know, for instance, we have a house to-do list, different little projects around the house. We'll go room by room, and we will write down everything that we want to do to that room, and we'll do the whole house. We'll list it all out, and then we'll put it to a calendar. Be like, we'll use a corporate term here. What are the low-hanging fruit that we can knock out first? What do we have to budget for? Mm-hmm. What are the cheap things that we can get done quicker? So yeah, we will just make a list, apply it to the calendar, and just make sure that, like I said, if it's not on the list or it's not on the calendar, it just doesn't get done.
Right. That's why it's so important to communicate and talk about these things.
Yeah.
So let's talk about how not only do we have two businesses, you have a full-time job, we have two kids, but they are being homeschooled as well.
Homeschool was a big decision.
It was a very big decision.
So it was hard when the two of us were working at home.
Right.
Now there's four of us that work at home.
Yeah.
And we also need to be the what are we called? We are the
home educators.
Home educators. So we have to make that work. So we have to fit that into the schedule. So while the girls have not figured out how to use Jira, we are introducing them to Google Sheets, and they have a spreadsheet with a calendar that we have to maintain because they have to do their schoolwork. I have to be in meetings. You have phone calls and other meetings and things that you need to attend to. So luckily we use Florida's Flex program. So it's virtual school. It's flexible, completely done to our schedule. And so we modify it in a way that works best for us. So, if they need to do something early in the morning and then later in the afternoon, or for instance, they just don't do school on Friday because we like to keep our Fridays open. They should keep their Fridays open.
Yep.
So we set the schedule for them, and we, to keep a theme here, we make it happen by planning. We plan it out. Like I work with Emma for her math. We make sure we do that first thing in the morning because my mornings are usually a little light. And really, we do math before I start my day.
Mm-hmm.
And then, they do 2 hours, about 2 hours of real like core curriculum. And then we have other activities, both educational and fun for them to do through the rest of the day. And then by 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, they're kind of wrapped up for the day. But they put in the effort.
Yeah. So would you say that homeschooling is working for them, or would you rather them go to a traditional school?
I mean, selfishly, I would want them in a traditional school just because it was so much easier to like get stuff done during the day, both work and my business and your business. And we had that extra time to dedicate to business stuff outside of my 9 to 5.
Yeah.
But with them being home, that extra time now is dedicated to their education. However, that being said, I feel that the education that they're getting home from being homeschooled, I mean, I feel like it exceeds what they would get in a brick and mortar traditional school.
I do too.
I mean, we did public school, we've done charter school.
We did Catholic school.
Yeah, we started with Catholic school with Mila for kindergarten, and that was okay. I did 8 years of Catholic school, 9 years, kindergarten through 8th grade, and then 4 years of public high school. And then what was your experience?
Public school until I went to high school, and then I went to a Catholic girls' high school.
Okay. So Mila did kindergarten in Catholic school, and then when we moved here to Florida, she did first grade in public school, and we thought that was going pretty well.
Mm-hmm. Until it wasn't.
That was more of like kid problems, like issues with other students, kind of being bullied.
Mm-hmm.
And once we figured out what was going on, she started doing a lot better. And she wasn't doing bad in school. She just didn't want to go. And when you're getting picked on and called names and stuff like that, why would you ever want to go to school? Like, nobody wants to deal with that stuff.
Right.
So once we figured that out, school got better. And then we were able to get into charter school. And so charter school was going good. She was there for second grade and everything was fine. And you put some time in at the charter school. You had available time between having your own business and, you have your own flexible schedule. So
yeah, because I wanted to see how a charter school works. And I feel like I learned a lot for myself and for the girls. And ultimately, it wasn't what we wanted for our kids. Although they were doing great and the charter school was great, they only taught based on the state test.
Yeah, so that's the second thing that we learned about schools. The first thing is, when we were in Illinois, that the school district rating doesn't mean a whole lot, because that's why we chose Catholic school over the public schools in that area, because the curriculum was questionable. And then charter school, A-rated. Well, when your rating's based on reading and math, and that's all you're really focused on, and you're kind of sidestepping all the other subjects, like that wasn't going to work for either one of us. And it works for some, but for us, we wanted them to know more about science, more about social studies, actually have physical education, go to Spanish class and learn Spanish and not just color pictures. So we were kicking it around for a little bit, and we decided that the best option was to do homeschool, because then we can control the curriculum. I never really expected to be the home educator. I forgot that that was part of it, but it's working out. It's a struggle. Every day can be a little bit of a struggle. Some days are better than others, but again, like, to keep the theme, the girls are making it happen. They're doing really well. They are adapting. They do not want to go back to a regular school. And they've realized, and we've realized, that they learn as much as they do in like 2 hours a day in homeschool as it would be like a couple hours in school, because there's no distractions.
So for those parents who are saying, why would you want to homeschool your kids? Don't you think that they're losing out on that social aspect? What would you say to them?
Yes and no. Like, you can look at it both ways. So yes, they are not in a room with 25 or more other kids. It's really easy to make friends when you're trapped in a room with a bunch of kids all day. But it then becomes part of the parents' responsibility to get your kids out of the house and do something. Our girls Mila is still enrolled in Taekwondo. Emma decided that it wasn't a fit for her, but she's been doing it for 3 years. That's the longest she's ever committed to doing anything. So we allowed her to stop going. And there's other opportunities to meet kids. Go to the parks, go to the playgrounds, enroll in sports or other extracurricular activities. Go walk around your neighborhood. Join Facebook groups that are there's a million homeschool groups, probably for every single town. There's at least 5. Talk to those people, set up play dates like you would normally. It's kind of a shot in the dark. Most of these people are strangers, but you at least already have homeschool in common. So yes, it's not as easy as being in a traditional school for your kids to make friends. But the parents have to put in effort, but the parents also get to decide who's the right friend for my kid to make.
Right.
Because when you're in school, there's a good chance that they can make friends with the wrong kid.
Yep.
And now we get to control that as well. And I don't want to be a helicopter parent. I'm not going to control everything that they do, but I am going to have a say-so in it.
Right. So that is about homeschooling. So let's talk about our marriage and how we make it happen, because there is very little time for us to get to spend together. So what works for you in our marriage?
I think that utilizing the time that we have together, the free time that we have together, utilizing that to either just spend some time together, but also, like, when we have a moment, talk about the things that need to be talked about. So for instance, when we're in the car together, we will, if we're run into Publix really quick or whatever the case is, when we're in the car, we can talk about something. Let's talk about it. When we're like winding down for the day and the girls are in their bedrooms doing whatever they're doing, and it's quiet, or it's quieter, let's talk about stuff. And then we also schedule time too. Like,
I love our date nights that we schedule every Friday. Even if we're not doing anything extravagant, at least we're spending time together.
Yeah, I agree. And I like those times too, because then that is dedicated block of time, whether if it's an hour or two. So for us, and just for anyone else that, is listening, every Friday evening is a date night. So if we got 4 weeks in the month, 3 of them are date nights. One of those Fridays is an official date night, with a capital D on date and a capital N on night. It's on the calendar. And those are a little bit more planned. Those usually require a babysitter. They revolve around somewhere new to try for dinner, or some kind of activity without kids for a couple hours. And it's more of a time for us to be together. We probably still talk about family and jobs and businesses, but it's a little bit more about the experience also of being somewhere, nice, having a good meal, maybe going for drinks. The other date nights, the informal date nights, those actually include a notebook and a pen.
Yes.
and it's like strictly about business. Like we are going on those little outings to write down notes, make plans
to talk about what's happening in our family, in our house, in our businesses.
Yeah. We talk and we make a plan for either that week or that month. We write it all down, really. And then we look at, well, since the last time we talked about it, because while it's every Friday, it doesn't always happen, because some Fridays there's something to do, or we spend the time with the girls. So it's not every Friday. We try to make it every Friday, but then we review, like, what did we accomplish since the last time we wrote everything down? So we hold ourselves accountable for everything that we write down too. Are you lost? Are we run out of things to talk about? Because we talk so much, sometimes we do run out of things to talk about.
Yeah, we do talk a lot. I guess what works in our family and what could we be better at?
So I think the thing that works the most and avoids the most conflict, especially just between us, is talking. Like
communicating.
Yeah, like, okay, I'll roll my eyes when you say I want to talk to you about some stuff. I will roll my eyes at that. But
yes, and you do.
But we need to do it. It needs to get done. It's the way that we work, because if it doesn't get said, then it gets bottled up. And it could be anything. It could be about, like, what are you doing about this thing with my website? Or where are my social posts? Or how come there's still a mess of, like, stuff in the garage? Or when are you going to finish putting up, like, the crown molding in Mila's bedroom? Like, any of that stuff needs to get talked about, because if it doesn't, we just hold it in, and then we know what happens. It's like a volcano.
Yes.
It erupts. It turns into an argument that shouldn't have never been an argument, because it's little things that have all boiled over. So I think what works the best for us is the communication.
I will say that in our marriage, there are times that we argue. Not all the time, but when we argue, we do get mad at each other. And then right after that, or shortly after that, we talk about it, because we don't let it go too long. Because if we don't talk about it, then it boils over into the next day, and then we're still angry.
Yeah, I don't think that any argument we've ever had has not been talked about and either resolved or worked on after, I don't think it's gone 24 hours. So, like, for instance, if an argument happened tonight, maybe we would go to bed not talking to each other or saying very little, but we would not go to bed tomorrow night without not having worked it out. So there's not 2 nights in a row where we go to bed not having worked things out and fixed it, or at least expressed our feelings and talked about why it happened. So I think there was another part to the question, like, what do you think we could do better, or what can we work on?
Yeah.
Do you have anything? Because I'm trying to think.
What can we do better? I don't know. I mean, we can do better at everything, but I don't have anything specific.
I know personally for me, like holding myself accountable for the things that I said I'm going to do, because I think that becomes an issue for us sometimes, is that I take on a lot, because that's just like a personality trait that I have trouble saying no to things. So I take on a lot. I don't always get it done in a timely manner. So I guess I could work on saying no, or at least not accepting and taking on every task that comes my way, because like I don't want to disappoint you. And then I also don't want to be disappointed myself feeling that way, because another day or a week has gone by and I haven't finished something. Now, like I'm beating myself up inside being like, why the hell haven't you finished it? And you're also questioning me, why the hell haven't you finished it? You said you'd be done with it and it's half done, and I don't want to be half done about anything.
Yeah.
What else do you got for me?
What do you think I could do better as a wife?
That's kind of a loaded question, isn't it?
Yes.
I mean, I don't want to answer.
I don't even know why I asked that.
I don't want to give you an answer and be like, start an argument.
Oh my God. No, but just like stuff that, okay, so one of the things that I really pride myself on is not disrespecting you in front of other people. Like I never want to disrespect you or put you down or talk negatively about you in front of other people, because at the end of the day, it's none of their business. It's our problem. We should be able to have that discussion, solo.
Okay, so if you could stop putting me down when other people aren't around, that'd be great.
I don't think that's going to happen, but okay.
I'm joking. Well, I do appreciate that. I hope I don't give you very many reasons to bite your tongue and not put me down in front of other people. So what could you do better as you said, as a wife?
As a wife, as a mom, just anything in general.
Let's see. I think you asked the toughest question here.
Well, let me rephrase this. Am I what you expected your wife to be like compared to how you were raised and how your mom was with your dad? Like, how do I fit into that?
Okay, so I can say that I didn't really have a picture in my head of what my future as like having a wife or having a mother of my children. Like I never really pictured what that would be like. So I can't say it's not what I wanted, but I can say that I don't regret it or I don't dislike it. There's really not much that I would say that I don't like. I like the way that you treat me. I like the things that you do for me. I like the things you do for our house and our family. I like the way that you treat the girls and the things that you do for the girls. If anything, it's been helpful to me to learn how to, be better at doing that stuff myself. Because I think we've talked about this like early on. I was very, only childlike and just kind of thought of myself. And it was my way or the highway, and I get what I want, and I do it my way. That didn't work being in a relationship with you, and that sure as hell doesn't work having 2 kids, 2 little girls at that. Maybe with some boys, you can get away with it a little bit, but like, there's a lot of emotions in this house. There's a lot of estrogen floating around in this house. So I've learned a lot from you. So while I didn't have a picture of what my wife would be, I know what I have now, and I like everything about it.
Oh, thank you.
And it's on video and recorded, so it's been documented.
Yeah, so it's been documented. All right. So before we wrap up, I ask every guest this question. What's the greatest lesson failure has taught you that you still carry with you today?
So we're talking about a failure that I've learned from, right? Is that what we're trying to?
Yeah, that you still carry with you today.
So I think in my life, the biggest failure that I've ever had is when I failed out of college. And that was a very short-lived University of Illinois career. That was 1 semester where I thought I could skate by just like I had done through grade school and high school. And that was definitely not the case. So I started in the fall, and during winter break, Christmas break, got a letter that said I was no longer a student there and that I was done. And that was devastating. I still remember how I felt, how I acted or reacted when I read that letter. So 2 things have happened since then. One, I have a little bit of fear of failure. So sometimes I procrastinate, but then this is not a good thing. This is the things that I'm working on. Sometimes I have a tendency to procrastinate on things because I have this fear that I'm not going to do it perfectly, or it's not going to be done the way that someone wants it to be done. So I just keep putting it off. So that failure, that's a lesson that is sticking with me that I need to work on and overcome because it created kind of a bad habit. But the one thing that came from that is that the failure is never the end. Like, that was devastating news that day in that moment. And that took probably, I don't know, a couple days to like really get over, right? But then I had to do some soul searching and decide, like, what do I want to do with my life? Because I was going there for computer engineering. And I don't even know why I was going for computer engineering. But then I thought about it. I was like, I don't care how a computer works on the inside. All I want to do is press the button and have it turn on. What I'm more concerned about, or what I'm more passionate about, is like creating images, doing design, creating graphics, doing layout on the computer. And so I found a different school, got my degree, and realized that like, just because I failed out of one school doesn't mean I'm a failure. And I got my bachelor's in 3 years, and I've been graphic designer for 20 plus. And now I've switched over to, email marketing. And so I've made a pretty good career out of failing. And I think that's the one thing, is like, it's not the end. It's never the end. It might hurt, it might feel like it, but it's never the end. There's an alternative.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you. Let's continue to make it happen.
Where do you want to make it happen?
Jim, stop. Thanks for tuning in to Making It Happen. If today's episode hit home, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, or share it with someone who needs to hear it. Want more tools and support? Visit paulineroth.com for free resources to keep making it happen. See you next time.